Page 169, Eine Kleine Nachtmusik. Very famous melody by Mozart. You can read about it. You can Google all this stuff all that, okay? I'll just talk about this piece because it looks kind of ugly. Well, when you break it down into its components and what's going on, it's really a bunch of broken chords, a lot of it. So look it over. It's a page long, treble bass clef, 2 sharps in the key signature. We're still in the key of D major, so go ahead and do the scales and arpeggios for D major and B minor, because B minor has 2 sharps in it also. I'm sure the book eventually will introduce B minor, but you don't have to wait, just start doing it. 4/4 time signatures, take it one hand at a time. Right hand, second finger here, and thumb. And if you look at all the notes across the first line, you see they're all just part of they're part of a D chord. We're in second inversion because the D chord is here, and we're just doubling the A on the bottom and here, and I'm using 4th finger there now. And that's really all the notes in the first line. Beat 2, there's a rest. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now measure 3. They want 5 again. No, this is a beginner's type finger. I can't believe they would even suggest that. No, I just used 5 on measure 2. I'm going to use 4 for the first G. And then I can come down 3 and now 5. So I'm kind of walking. I don't want to do that. No, just bad idea. Just don't. Yeah. Now this actually is another chord, and you can use 4th finger there too. So it's and I probably would just out of habit because I have that. That's the 7th chord. It's an A7, remember, or a 5/7 chord. Okay. And that would be the fingering, but you can use 3 if you want, I guess. I'm going to use measure 5 or here. They want thumb again. I can't believe they're suggesting this. Shame, shame, shame. I'm not going to go from here to here. No, I got 2 Ds there in measure 5. I can change hand positions on the repeated notes. So I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to use 3 or 2, I don't care which, just a finger, anything but 1 here, and then 1 for the second one here, like so. So it's measure 4, 1 and 2 and 3, because that D is tied. And again, if these tied notes mess you up, temporarily take out the tie and play all the notes. 1 and 2 and 3, just 1, and they're just 8th notes. But when you get an idea of that, then you just put the tie in, you're just hanging on to the note. 1 and 2 and 3, and then measure 6, they say crossover. That's fine, and you can do a 3. We're sort of staying in this position because of what's coming. So it's handy here in measure 6 to use 3 on the 5. And then right, so now at the end, last 2 measures, you're here, and then here, 2, you don't need 2. If you'd use, you can use thumb on the first one if you want. You can use thumb on both. You don't have to use 2. Just whichever. I'm going to use thumb for the last 2 Ds because it's closer. It's closer. I don't have to move as far. Second finger, I got to move farther. But for clear, I just move a little bit. Left hand, let's see what it's doing. With basically the same note names. And then you look across the first line, all the notes, and it's just that chord. And it's the D chord again, second inversion. It's here. Just put the A on the bottom, double. That's fingering. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And we do use 3rd because we got 2 notes in between, actually. If it were this note, I'd use 4. Now, measure 3, I'm not going to use thumb again. I just use thumb on measure 2. I don't want to use thumb again. I'm going to use 2, it's here. And then you can do a 4, 1. So it's measure 3 is 2, 4, 1. And I'm back to what they're doing. And I use 4 on the C sharp because again, that's fingering for that chord, so that's what I use. A lot of people do use 3, but I teach 4. And then for measure 5, they went up here. Again, a beginner's fingering. They're keeping you in this nice, neat 5-finger position. We're getting out of that. So for the measure 5, since they're all repeated notes, you can change hand positions on repeated notes. It's a little tricky because we're dealing with 3 notes instead of 1, but it can still be done. So in that one, for the first one, I'm just going to reach up and use 3, 2, 1 on the first one, and then 5, 3, 2. The thumb stays there. It's just here. I'm going from here to here. I don't go here. I don't want to do that. So I'm going here. Yeah. Measure 6 is the 1 sus 4 chord. Remember that one? That middle finger just came up. Measure 9 here. Now what I would recommend is measure 9 rather than 5, 3, 1. Go ahead and use the 3, 2, 1. Use the extended fingering here. So on measure 8, I'm here, and then just come down. Again, this stays there. Just these come down here, here to here. This way, I'm ready for the A. So it's 4, 1, and 2. Yeah, it works. So once I have an idea what the fingering and all going on in each hand, then I try to put the hands together. And a lot of times this is almost like starting over. I'll hesitate all over. I don't care. Sometimes when it's really tough, you have to forget the rhythm and just try and figure out which notes and which fingers in each hand are going. So we're here in the right hand and the left hand is here. We're in this position for the first line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Second line, and then here, these numbers, and then I'm gonna exactly how I finger the middle part of measure 3. Who cares? But the first note is there, and the last note is here or here, whichever. Because then in measure 4, I'm here. And then measure 5 is here first and here. If I don't want to move both hands at the same time like that, I got 4 of these in the left hand I can move anytime. So I could stay there for the first 2 beats if I needed to. That way I got my right hand in position. Because the right hand's tied there. So you're just moving one hand at a time is what I'm after. And so here, going from measure 4 to 5, I can go here, and then thumb, leave the left hand like it is, and now move the left hand, because I moved the right hand. Now I'm in position, and here. And that's tied till you don't play it again. The idea? Now measure 8, it's here. It's here. Remember, I just came down the left hand. And then I'm in position. Yeah. So I work out a fingering that sort of works. And then I go back over it carefully and work out the hesitations. And it's something like this, if it's really challenging you, then just take it like a phrase at a time. A sentence at a time. Like, for instance, this is the first line. Get that. Where you can play that okay, not that fast, but okay, no hesitations, you're comfortable with it. And then work on the next one. Make sure you get that okay, and then go to the next one. But don't keep going back to the beginning and playing it all again. Just focus on a little piece at a time and get that learned. And then once you get it all, then you can go back to the beginning and play it all again. Otherwise, you waste a lot of time playing this first line over and over and over after you've learned it, when you can't play the other stuff. You need to focus on the other stuff until you can play it. Then you can go back and do the stuff you can play already. Now, once I have the notes and the rhythms down and I've worked out the hesitation, no hesitations. Keep it slow if you have to, it's okay, but no hesitations. Think about the articulation, and this has a lot of staccatos, flexing at the wrist, short staccatos. Now you have these tenuto lines here. You're going to hang on to those here. Bum, 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 here. And then measure 4. Connect all this together. These are slurs, not phrases. Connect them. This, staccato. Okay. That's basically the articulation. And once I have an idea of the articulation, then I think about the dynamics. In my opinion, the melody's in the right hand. And that's what the dynamic applies to. This first line, they're both playing the same note names. You think, well, both hands have melody. But in my opinion, the melody's in the right hand. The left hand has harmony. It's just an octave or two apart, but it's still harmony. I want to hear the right hand. The left hand's in the background. And it's loud. Forte is loud. Measure 4, you come down moderately soft. This, very soft left. And then a measure 9. First note is soft, and then loud. No, I think the loud belongs on the first beat. So it's measure 8, you're here. Come up immediately. Keep this in the background. We want to hear that. And that 3 notes, that drowns it out. So you got to keep this left hand soft. So, but this is soft. At the end, accent staccato, accent, very loud. Right hand. That's my impression of the dynamics. Other people would treat it differently, but that's how I treat it. You do whatever your teacher tells you to do. Speed, Allegro's quick. You have to kind of find the most difficult part, and what can you do it accurately? It's quick or happy. Happy. Now don't copy me. You get into it. Remember the natural accents? 1, 2, 3, 4. Exaggerate them if you need to. 1, 2. 1, 2, like measure 6. Now here, the natural accent on the third beat is tied. So you really only get the 1, but the left hand. Feel the natural accents. I'm exaggerating them so you can hear them better, but you just feel them. Now once you can play this, okay, no hesitations, then come back to the video. Let's play it together very slowly, just to check that you have the correct notes and rhythms. I'm not doing the louds and softs. I'll play it all about the same. I will do the staccatos and things, and the accents, hopefully. I'll give us 4 counts. Just one hand at a time if you have to. Now, make sure you can play it okay first. Don't try and learn it in the play with me. That's backwards. Learn it first and check it in the play with me. Okay. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1 and 2 and 1 and 4 and 4 and 2. best, and